Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
New on Curiosity Stream. With superior armies comes superior weapons. How has innovation mechanized the battlefield? From bullets to battleships and everything in between. It's machinery of warfare. Plus, from the gross to the gourmet. See how that in-flight meal lands on your tray table. On secrets of your airline food. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your wages are being garnished. We can stop that now. It's hard enough to pay your bills when things are good, let alone when a big chunk of your take-home pay is gone before you even get your check. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne, and I can stop the garnishment and get the creditors off your back immediately, often the same day as our consultation. Both Chapter 7 and 13 provide bankruptcy relief, but choosing the right chapter is crucial. In a free consultation, we can create a plan to get your finances back under your control. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
Hey, this is Ashley from Funko. From one legendary Northwest brand to another, we want to wish KISW a happy 50th anniversary. Keep rocking, and here's to another 50 years.
99.9 KISW, yeah, it is the Rock of Seattle celebrating the big 50, and we're talking to a lot of people today, and I think it's time to go to a legend on his own. Okay, it is our 50th anniversary weekend. It is brought to you by Palace Law, and you can check out the KISW logo generator at KISW.com.
Which a lot of people are loving.
Yeah.
It's a KSW font, which is just a cool rockin' font. Now you can put your own name in it if you just go to KSW.com, type in your name or whatever you want to type in, and they'll turn it into the KSW style logo.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I've already seen my name on there. Some folks have been posting it on Twitter. So go check it out at KISW.com. And all day long, we are celebrating 50 years on The Rock. And I think now it is time. Now it is time to go to a pretty awesome person. And we're going to get some great stories. And if you would like to share your stories, give us a call at 206-421-ROCK. You can also text us at 77999. And it is time for the next person to join us.
DJ, all morning long, we're celebrating 50 years on The Rock, and I'm very excited to have our next guest on. A guy, we've done a lot of fun stuff over the years, some great charity stuff, and just all-around awesome dude. He's the voice of your Seattle Mariners. Welcome to the show, Rick Riz.
Rick!
Hey, how you guys doing?
Awesome. Rick, it's special to have you with us because we are celebrating 50 years, which is, I still, when I say it, it's hard for me to believe that this radio station has been doing rock in Seattle for 50 years, and thank you for being here with us celebrating.
Well, I tell you what, that says a lot about you guys and what you've done, because you've done it so well for so long, and you become a part of the community, and that's what the Mariners have done for many years. They've taken care of all of us and the players, and we come into their homes on radio and television, and we're out in the community and doing some great stuff. And you guys have done the same thing at KISW. Thank goodness you became a rock station in 1971. You started in 1950 as a classical station, so we could be celebrating 71 years of radio.
Yeah.
And talking about, Beethoven and Bach instead of Bach to Turner Overdrive. You guys have been doing it for so well for so many years. Happy 50th anniversary to all of you. You deserve all the most wonderful things. You're one of the best rock stations in America. So congratulations.
That would be weird saying, like, hey, coming up next, Beethoven.
Followed by Tina Turner. I was a disc jockey, my first job in baseball.
Oh, really?
I made $200 a month in 1975. I was the clubhouse guy, 4 years of college, and my best buddy at the time was running the Alexandria Aces. We were a AA farm club for the San Diego Padres, and he let me do 3 innings of play-by-play. I was the clubhouse guy, so I got the visiting guys I wash their uniforms and shine their shoes and everything.
Wow.
But on the weekends, to make a few extra bucks so I could survive and eat, I was a disc jockey at this radio station in Alexandria, Louisiana from 12 midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The choice hours.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did the overnights too. Those are some of the best phone calls that you'll ever get, though. When people would call in the overnights, you knew something weird was about to happen because either they were drunk or really tired or whatever it may be.
I had one really scary phone call. You know the movie Play Misty?
With Clint Eastwood, yes. It was a stalker situation, yeah.
did?
No, really? Oh, that's not
they
that.
They wanted a song, and I couldn't find it. And they said, I know you get off the air at 4 o'clock this morning. You better play that song.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what song it was?
Oh, man.
No. To this day, I can't remember, but I couldn't find it. I put on Stairway to Heaven so I could find the song, and I never could find it. So I opened up the door at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I turned off the station, and then rebooted up at 6, and I looked on the street, ran across to my 1971 Ford Maverick, got in my car, and raced to my apartment. I was okay. I was all right.
Wow. And that's why he's a baseball broadcaster now. We're talking to Rick Riz, of course, the voice of the Seattle Mariners. Rick, I tell you, for a lot of folks, last season was a weird season, obviously, for baseball. Yeah. But, we had some really cool bright spots. I mean, you were telling me, of course, we made a run of it, but we had a couple of Gold Gloves this year. Like, we had some guys that I don't think people realize that could be the foundation of some great baseball here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And BJ and Steve, that's what 2020 was all about, letting the kids have an opportunity to play, and they really came through. Wait till you see the next wave of kids coming, and then there's a wave after that. But last year, the 2 Gold Glove winners you're talking about, J.P. Crawford, really had an outstanding year working with Perry Hill, our infield coach, and then Evan White as a rookie. Rookies don't win Gold Gloves, in their first year in the big leagues, but he was so outstanding at first base that he won a Gold Glove. But the big story last year was Kyle Lewis, who was the American League Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
He burst onto the scene in September of 2019. In his first game, he hits a home run. He hit home runs in 6 of his first 10 games in the big leagues in September of that year. And then last year on opening day in Houston, his first at bat, his first swing of the year, he hits a home run off of Justin Verlander off a fastball. Then he saw nothing but sliders after that. But he had an outstanding year, was the American League Rookie of the Year. So Jerry DiPoto has really taken this organization from a few years ago, one of the worst farm systems in baseball, to one of the best. And they're really forming the core of young players that are going to be here for a long time and get us to the playoffs real soon.
Can I ask you a really stupid question?
No stupid question. No question is stupid.
Okay, I won't then. All right, because earlier, a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, we were talking about the movie Naked Gun, the Leslie Nielsen classic, and we were reminiscing. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Mariners were one of the 2 teams featured.
For the team.
And you were working with the Mariners around that time. Do you remember any fun stories, or what was that like? Just realizing, oh crap, they're focusing on our team. That must have been a cool experience.
I thought it was pretty cool seeing our ball club and players wearing our Mariners uniform against the Angels, and Leslie Nielsen calling a strike and then doing the moonwalk, as he called strike 3. And I thought it was great. I said anything that would put the Mariners on the map anywhere at that time, was good. So to be in that movie and to see us playing in that game against the Angels, I think was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good call from MLB. So let's give the Mariners some love and get them to be one of the teams in that, because that was a movie that a lot of people saw.
Yeah. No, it was great. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies. If you want a good laugh, man, just put on that movie and you'll have a good time.
Enrico Palazzo.
Rico Palazzo, yeah. Hey, that's Enrico Palazzo.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Rick Riz, voice of the Mariners, thank you so much for joining us for our 50th, Rick, and saying all the kind words. Oh. And how great would be our 50th birthday, the year that the Mariners make magic. I'd love that.
Oh, that would be something. Happy 50th anniversary. You guys don't look a day over 20. Keep rocking on in Seattle. You guys love you guys, and it's so much fun. You got involved in the community you have for many, many years. So keep doing what you're doing. Have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun at T-Mobile Park as well. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rick.
Steve. Thank you, guys. Happy anniversary.
Oh, man, Rick Riz, the best. And we are celebrating 50 years of being KISW, getting a lot of stories from people like Rick Riz and a lot of musicians we'll be talking to, celebrities, luminaries. But we're also talking to you at 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999, getting your stories. Soren and Bonnie Lake, you are on the Rock.
Hey, guys. I've been a long-time fan. Kind of literally grew up on you guys.
Oh, really? How long have you been listening?
Ever since I was going to like preschool and all that.
Oh, dang. I love that. We got you started young.
We're sorry.
Yeah. No, we gotta form.
I'm sorry, you guys are literally my idols and amazing.
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Soren. Thank you so much. And
Thanks for listening.
Formulating young minds is what we're all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually that's the maturity level that we really do appeal to.
Well, that is a good point. Let's go to Jeff in Puyallup. Jeff, you are on the Rock.
Hey, buddies.
Hey,
Happy 50th.
Thank you, man. So
I just want to take a minute to call in.
So
I appreciate that.
You guys are part of my daily routine for sure. Coffee and beat Migs and BJ in the mornings on my way to work every day.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that, man. Thanks so much for listening. Let's go to Shane and Everett. Shane, you are on the Rock.
Hey, BJ and crew, how's it going?
Not too bad, Shane. Welcome to our 50th anniversary celebration. Anything special you remember in your time listening?
Yeah, actually, man. When, I, like everybody, I've gone through some rough patches in life and stuff, and your guys' show has always been like a bright spot in the morning. No matter how crappy the day has been or the day was before, I'm usually laughing when I don't feel like laughing.
That's awesome.
And so, I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Is this Rock Machine? Is this Rock Machine?
Yes, it is. Steve,
I do the voice. Great photographer, great bassist as well.
Oh, dude.
One of my favorite people I've met, thanks to KSW.
That's Steve. That goes both ways, man. I want to especially say thank you to you and the Migs cast. It gave me a lot of inspiration. There were times when I would be like, man, I got so much going on. I don't know if I can keep doing the photography and the bass and all that. And then I would listen to some of your stories from you and Glenn and Rev, and I would just be like, okay, I got this. I can keep going and stuff. And so I just want to say thank you to you and Rev and Glenn especially.
Nice. And we're bringing back the Migs Cast. There's a goal this year. It's coming back.
And thank you for those kind words as we're celebrating our 50th anniversary of being KISW. It's pretty unbelievable. And moving on to our next interview, it's unbelievable. The people that I know and respect in this business, I now can say I worked at the same great place they did.
This is awesome. A man who was in charge of this radio station way back in the late 70s. It's Gary Bryan, our former program director and promotions director. Gary.
Yeah, you know what? I actually had two stints at KISW. I was the promotion director in 1978, and then I was the program director in 1983.
So you were here rocking things when the Sonics were winning the championship.
Bro, let me tell you something. We had the greatest promotion. When the Sonics had the victory parade, I went with Steve Slayton in the KISW van. We found out the route of the parade, and before they closed it off to vehicular traffic, right, we were driving along in the KISW van, sticking a microphone out the window. So everybody on the parade route waiting for the parade thought they were live on KISW, and they were... It was just amazing, man. It was so funny.
Gary, we lost Eddie Van Halen last year, and of course, you living in L.A., you know the importance and the power of that band. I'm wondering at all, do you have any, because I know that Van Halen in their early days, man, created a lot of great memories and a lot of great rock stations. Do you have one that happened at KISW?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Their first, big show in Seattle, Steve Slayton was on at night. I was the promotion director at that time. Steve said, hey, Van Halen is coming in tonight, and I want to party with him. Would you come in and run the control board so I can, sit with Van Halen and party? So I did. I came in that night, ran the control board. Everybody came in. David Lee Roth, Eddie, everybody in the band had their own bottle of Jack Daniels. And it was a wild interview with Slayton. And then after the interview was over, Steve took David Lee Roth into the production studio and recorded him saying KISW, Seattle's best rock. And he became our station voice. And, you just think 1978, 1979, having David Lee Roth as the voice of your radio station, it didn't get any cooler than that.
Man, when you think of it, because, you and I have been around this business for a long time. And of course, you were here and, for some great moments of the Rock's history as we're doing the 50th birthday. And we're talking to Gary Bryan, one of the alum.
Well, you and I met after you pulled a real boner, but then.
No, we can't gloss over that. I want to hear your perspective of this story. What was BJ's boner?
But it wasn't on KISW, Steve. It really wasn't part of the Rock's history.
Well, here's what happened. So I'm living on Mercer Island, so is VJ, and we didn't know each other, but our kids went to the same class at Mercer Island. It was the middle school on Mercer Island. And my daughter comes home and she goes, wow, this girl that goes to school with me, her dad just got let go or laid off or whatever it was, taken off the air at this radio station. And I knew who she was talking about, right? And I just felt so bad being a dad of, 4 kids myself and just knowing the hardship you can put on them, with a radio career. And I said, I got to reach out. So I reached out. We got to know each other. We wound up having poker nights. And
the only guy, by the way, Gary was the only guy that reached out. And even though I never got a job from Gary, I got a really wonderful friendship. And, can
I ask him? Because I'm
so happy about that.
I'm putting you on the spot, BJ, but was Gary then the inspiration? Because you do that. Gary, I don't know if you know this, but when people hit hard times, like in the world of radio, guys get let go or ladies get let go, BJ is typically the first person that will reach out to them. And was Gary part of the inspiration behind that?
If Gary wasn't on the line hearing this, I would say yes. But since he is, no. Gary's never inspired me to do anything.
That's pretty cool. No, I did not know that. That could have been.
It really is. You're
that's
right.
What started with, because you do that all the time.
You're absolutely right. Because Gary said exactly what I say to people. I know what it's like to be in your position, and even though I can't offer you a job, I want you to know that you're not alone, and I want you to know. I mean, Gary was so cool that day, and Gary had a much more successful career than I ever did have. So I was, because I knew Gary from a lot of other things, but that just shows you the kind of heart, truly successful people are the people that will reach out like Gary did. And to this day, still got a ton of respect and love for you, brother.
It's mutual.
We've got Gary Bryan with us as we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of The Rock, KISW. Gary, years ago, there's a lot of stuff that happened that you, just couldn't talk about. But you know what? We got 50 years pretty much that have gone by since the start of this fine joint. Is there a story that you I couldn't tell you then, but you know what? I can tell you now, a good rock and roll, are you kidding me story.
Well, I can tell you how I got fired in 1984.
Oh, that's a great story. I want to hear that.
Billy Idol came in, and he was on the air in the afternoon with the great Gary Crow, right? And so Billy's on the air, and I'm in the hallway. I'm not listening. Then Billy comes out of the studio, and they take off. They leave. Every phone in the building is ringing. And I'm going, what's up? What's up with that? Well, apparently while Billy was on the air with Crow said, hey, what are you doing while you're in Seattle to pass the time? He goes, I'm eating blank.
Am I unbelievable?
Like Alpha, you see Cats on that TV show?
Yes.
Okay.
He's eating.
No.
Yes.
And Billy actually said that on the air.
He said it, not only did he say it once, but Crow tried to laugh it off. He goes, that's English for walking the cat, right? He goes, no, I'm eating. And he's like, slurp, slurp, sound effects. Oh, yeah. So these women are calling up and going, I'm driving my son home from school and I'm listening to KISW and I hear Billy Idol on it. What the hell is that? I'm trying to explain to my son what that is and blah, 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 blah. But here's what else was going on.
You lose your job over this. I don't feel so bad about what I did because I'm the moron that did it to myself. You had somebody else do that to you.
Here's what was going on. For years, it had been 3 years. There was a disgruntled ex-employee who had filed on the license renewal to deny the license. And the company that owned the station at the time had spent upwards of $1 million getting their license renewed. It was 2 weeks away from being renewed. And he happened to be out there taping Billy Idol. I told the general manager, Steve West, who's a good friend, I said, look, let me get an apology on the air from Billy. And I tracked him down, and Billy Idol did apologize on tape, and we ran it on the air. But this disgruntled ex-employee took that tape to the FCC, and they put another 90-day hold on the license of the radio station, and I was the guy who was responsible. So that's how I got fired.
Hey, Gary, I don't know if you could even answer this question, but almost like get inside the mind of some of the rock stars over the years, because, we shared the story about Van Halen. I think about I was watching a Quiet Riot documentary, and Kevin Dubrow from Quiet Riot's rocking a KSW shirt. There's a great picture of Brian Johnson on stage, rocking a KSW shirt. Obviously, Brian from AC/DC. Then you got like Jerry Cantrell with the KSW stickers on his iconic guitar that he still plays to this day, and even talked about in the Mopop celebration. What is it about KSW, especially in the days that you were there, that was so special to the artists? Because it seems like there was so much love for KSW from artists that aren't even from Seattle that seem to embrace this radio station. What do you think was so special about KSW that made them love this station so much?
It's a great question. I just think the whole vibe of KISW. One of my favorite moments was being in the when Ozzy was playing a show for us, Ozzy Osbourne, and he came to the station to hang out, but he was so stoned he just sat there and drooled. and Sharon was just like running around going, "Come on, Ozzy! Come on, Ozzy! Wake up, Ozzy!"
Gary, I'm happy that you and I are alum at this great radio station, because we've been great friends. We would never really work together.
Well, BJ, thank you, man, and everybody there. Happy 50th anniversary, and if I'm ever allowed in the city of Seattle again, I'll stop by and see you.
We'll make sure we get Billy Idol in that day.
There you go.
Gary, thanks so much for being with us.
You got it, man.
We are celebrating 50 years of KISW all weekend. This is just the start of it right now, man. All day long, all weekend long, you're going to be hearing some of your favorite rock stars and KISW alum join us to share their stories, like that great one that Gary shared with us. We also want to hear your memories. You have great memories, too. Call us at 206-421-ROCK. You can also text us at 77999. It's the KISW 50th anniversary weekend.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. With superior armies comes superior weapons. How has innovation mechanized the battlefield? From bullets to battleships and everything in between. It's machinery of warfare. Plus, from the gross to the gourmet. See how that in-flight meal lands on your tray table. On secrets of your airline food. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
99.9 KISW, and we are golden, baby. Celebrating 50 years of rock. Yeah, it is our 50th anniversary weekend, brought to you by Palace Law. And look it, man, you know that iconic rock logo. Do you know now we have a KISW logo generator where you can put your name and have it look just like the same font as the rock logo?
Yeah, I just wrote Booger Face and check it out.
Oh, look at you.
It looks rocking.
You know what? I really think you should keep that.
It's 2 words, of course.
Yeah, you should put that on like a business card. Yeah, you can put anything in there.
Yeah, I've been putting my cats. I got a Damn It Carl and Franken accounting one.
Look at that. And now you will officially rock. Go check out the logo generator at KISW.com.
BJ, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of KISW, and I'm very excited to have our guests on because they've been great partners with us over the years. So many great memories. Big thanks to Dan Bretler from Car Toys for joining us here on The Rock.
So good to have you on. And man, as we celebrate our 50th, I mean, Car Toys, it feels like you've been with us since day one. We've had such a great relationship with you.
Well, I think that's right. First of all, thank you for letting me join, and congratulations I guess if it's your 50th anniversary, I am pleased to say I have not been with you since day one. but I've been with you a long time, and as I started to think about it, it brings back a lot of memories.
Well, it's both sides of it. When you think about what we've done, the presenting of all the great music Seattle's had to offer as well around the world, and then you guys giving people amazing ways to listen to that music.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about because to some extent we're in the same business, right? We're just trying to make people's lives more enjoyable with good music.
Dan, it's a silly story to bring up, but I think about many times I've done the tent sales with car toys, and I always was impressed because you would just bounce around from table to table. I mean, it would barely any prep. It would be like, mics are on, go. And you would just nail like these 60-second live commercials. Like it was nobody's business. But my favorite part of that, I always would call them, it was like the radio fair, because it was just like, every radio station would be there. And, for the longest time, everyone had that mentality of like, oh, we're all competitors and we can't be friends. But I actually made friends from competing, quote unquote, radio stations because of the car toys tent sales, because we're all hanging out and it's just like, oh, cool. Let me just chat up that guy from Cube or this guy from the End or whatever it may be. And it's like, it's so funny in a roundabout way. The tent sales, I felt like made locally our business stronger.
Well, thanks. Yeah, those we did those things for a lot of years, and then I got old. They had to stop.
Dude, you were flying around. I was like, I don't know whatever. Bottle that energy, man. That guy is going everywhere.
I don't know, but we enjoyed him. And it's interesting that you say that, because I do remember that at first it's like, okay, Cube didn't want to sit next to KISW, didn't want to near KCOK. And it's like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. We're just all here to have a good tent sale. That's what we're here for. So thank you for that.
Dan Bretler of Car Toys. Dan, it has been a wonderful relationship. I've really enjoyed as a customer, as also a partner, and you guys have always done such a great job. And I love that you're a local company and started here.
Well, you're very generous with your words. Thank you for all you guys have done for the music scene, for the retailers, for the customers, and happy 50th.
Thank you, man. And don't forget, cartoys.com, man. Check that out.
A better way to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. You guys have a great day.
You too, Dan. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Take care. Be
Thanks,
safe.
Dan. Such dorks.
Yeah, we really are. But you know what? We sing good, though. We surely do. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. We're talking to a lot of great people.
Now, we got a ton of calls. We're going to get to the calls for sure at some point.
Yes,
and
we will.
Text, don't. It's so awesome to see how many people are texting and calling to say nice things.
And but we also have some great interviews to do. This next one we have is from a very obscure performer. You may know this person, you may not, but he really had a lot of good things to say. I'm sure he's got some great things to say to us.
BJ, super excited today. We're celebrating 50 years on KISW, and there's an awesome guest that we're about to have on, a man who's part of a band that has had such a huge imprint on our radio station. Please welcome to the show, Mike McCready from Pearl Jam.
And sir, could you familiarize me? I know it's a band we've played before. I'm not sure which one. Mike, always good to have you back, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Happy 50th anniversary.
I got to ask
I've been listening to it for about that long, so.
Well, then I got to ask you the question, because I think it's always fun. I still love videos whenever like a up and coming artist posts a video of them reacting to hearing their music on the radio. Do you hearing Pearl Jam on KSW for the first time, and can you take us back to that moment?
Yeah, I mean, it was right around 91, and it was probably around the time we played. And I'm pretty sure KSW put it out. We played at the Seattle Center at the Mural Amphitheater, and it was before a record release party. And driving around and hearing Alive on the radio for the first time, it was a dream come true. And it just wasn't one of those things where you pull over to the side and just go, whew.
Yeah.
All these years I've been trying to do this, and we're finally here. And, it's a huge honor. And it was one of the most exciting times of my life to hear us on KSW, for sure, back in the day. And still is, I'm still excited about it,
Yeah, it's a rare thing, because really a big part of KISW's history is that Seattle music scene. So it is such a connection and so intertwined. Do you feel like you had a relationship with the station? Because I know the station definitely feels like they had a relationship with you guys, even though the world definitely loves you and wanted you. But I know that a lot of folks back then felt like, man, you know what, you're our people.
Okay, I'm going to thank you for asking that, because I'm going to go all the way back to 1979. And as a young kid in Seattle, just starting to play guitar, a young Mike McCready called into KSW to do it was a challenge called Stump Slayton. Steve Slayton, who was the DJ at the time, who was very integral in terms of music that I got to hear in my band Shadow. The first time I heard Angel City was on KSW through Steve Slayton. The first time, Van Halen, the first time Aerosmith, all of these things were super integral to my growth. Queen, all the classic rock that was coming out at that time. Van Halen, I remember when Van Halen were in the station, and they did that KISW. That was the famous thing for so long. I saw them 4 times back in the day. But anyways, getting back to Stump Slayton, I called in, and I was probably talking like this. And I went, hey, Steve, I want to Stump Slayton. I was wondering if you know what Jimi Hendrix's middle name was. And he said, yes, that's Marshall. I couldn't stump Slayton in my pre-pubescent years. But I tried. So KSW to me is so important in terms of my musical development. And as any of the bands that came from here growing up in Seattle, Steve Slayton bringing that. I mean, you want me to go on? I can go on forever.
Please. This is what this is for. Mike, this is all the floor is yours because you've got so many great memories about this.
All right, here we go. So I met Steven Tyler down there on the Done with Mirrors tour. Rick and Chris and my buddies from Shadow, we all went down there to meet him. We met Alice Cooper down at KSW back in the day. I have so many memories in terms of my musical development. I keep going back to that. This is the radio station where I first heard UFO, Angel City, all these bands, the Stones, anything that I aspired to be, I heard on KSW as a kid growing up. So I'm trying to, and then later on I got, Damon Stewart and Kathy Faulkner. Were friends of mine and partied with Damon Steve. Sorry, Damon, but man, it was fun. We had a good time. It was back in the day, and Kathy Faulkner was great. It was always like, Faulkner was her show, and it was fun to hear her stuff. And it was a blast, man. So anyways, I'll try to remember some more stories, but I think that KSW helped put on a Shadow show a long time ago. I was looking for a flyer for that. I found it the other day. I've got the KSW, like a record you guys put out that Cheap Trick's on, and, so it's all sorts of stuff. So happy 50th birthday, Yeah, I've been listening to you guys since, 1971 when I was 6 or something, or 7, when my parents had it on the radio. So yeah, you weren't kidding. You weren't kidding. You said you've been here with us all 50 years. Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't, music started really becoming in my trajectory when I was about 10 or 11, and I'd get in the car with my parents and they'd put on KSW and I'd hear, Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good to Me So Far, or Dream. First time I heard Dream On, and I would confuse Dream On with Dream Weaver, but then I was like, whoa, I love Aerosmith, so now I know it's always Dream On. And so I can't tell you how many old, you know what I mean? Oh, here you go. Here you go. So this is the best. So KSW put on the Let There Be Rock movie. They promoted it, and I went to it and waited in line at the King Theater with all my buddies, again from Shadow, and we went and saw AC/DC Let There Be Rock movie in maybe 80 or 81, and I was so amazed because Bon Scott, I was so into AC/DC, and then Bon Scott died when I was in 8th grade, so we got to see that movie because of KSW, and it blew my mind. It was incredible. The first time I ever heard Soul Stripper was on KSW, and with that really long intro, and I would count the intro to see how long it took. Bands took forever to do their intros back in those days. And anyways, that was, and loving AC/DC at the time, again, introduced from KSW. So it's all very important. The first time they played Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, because the AC/DC record was not out in the States yet. KSW, Steve Slayton got it from Australia and was playing Dirty Deeds. And we couldn't find it anywhere. We're looking at Easy Street, looking all over the place. Finally found it maybe on Easy Street, but it was on KSW first, is my point, before the import of that record was out. So all that stuff I will never forget, and it was integral in me becoming a young guitar player.
I love that, Mike, because obviously, you're sharing everything that just as any kid would just love from a rock station, and yet you're your very little band basically has given everybody stories just like that. I think that is just, it's almost like Inception to me. And I don't know if that dawns on you, but there's so many people that have probably got stories like that about you guys, which has got to be trippy for a guy like you who, you're just a kid growing up hoping someday you get to play the guitar somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm aware of that, and I'm very proud of the fact that people, have their stories about our band, or, people have met each other and gotten married because of our shows, or, whatever, as long as we can, bring some sort of music or happiness or whatever into people's lives, then, then that's icing, and that's great. And that's what rock has done for me always. And KSW, again, was a huge part of that and is, to this day, but no uncertain terms in terms of my musical development. It was listening to KSW in the car in rainy old Seattle, growing up, being turned on to all these bands that would later, influence me and make me want to do music, and how it was played, and how Steve Slayton at the time, introduced it to people and made it. He was so passionate about it. I remember when Van Halen went down there, it seemed like there was this crazy party going on. My vision of what rock stars and everything was because of those kind of situations. Like, what are those guys doing in KSW? They're tearing it up, And then I went and saw Van Halen later on that night. So, back in the day with David Lee Roth, and it was incredible. So, anyways, I could go on and on and on and on. But yeah, I'm happy for 50th anniversary for you guys.
And you can talk about
and you guys too.
Yeah,
you guys. Thank you for helping us support. Lately with our, all of our kind of organizational things, and Stone coming in, and, homeless things, to, whatever our kind of pet projects are, or our homeless efforts, or whatever, you guys recently have been really helpful in helping our band do all of that stuff. And so we're very grateful to you as a band too. So thank you.
Oh, our pleasure, Mike.
Tonight starts the showing of the second night of the hometown shows from the when you guys performed over at T-Mobile Park, Safeco Field.
Yeah.
To me and my buddy Craig and I, we said, both of us have been to several Pearl Jam shows, and I'm like, this is the best Pearl Jam show I've ever been to. It's just such and walking around talking to other people, they had the same feeling too. That's got to be such a surreal experience, and I just would love to hear your perspective of those shows, the home shows.
Thanks for asking. In terms of the home shows, I've got to go back in the historical sense of where I came from as a young boy, and being in my band Warrior when I was, in seventh grade, with Rick Friel, Chris Friel, and Danny Newcomb. We played our first show in 1979 at our friend Jenny Weintraub's birthday party. So 1979 for me was my first show ever playing music. So, and that was in a living room, So I went from a living room, and then we played churches and rent things, and a shadow happened, and then the band, Pearl Jam, blah, blah, blah. So I look at it in the context of, the journey to getting to Safeco was a long, amazing, incredible journey. It's overwhelming to play 2 shows in your home city, and know that there's that love, and that you as a band member has that love going back to the city. I get chills thinking about it. I was tearing up. I was also super stressed because I wanted it to be great shows.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I can thrive on that stress. Hence my spilled iced coffee on the ground right now. But anyways, playing in Seattle for the home shows, twofold, trying to raise some sort of awareness and money for, the homeless issue that is, still going on, unfortunately, here in Seattle, Washington, was super important to all of our hearts, and as is to many people in Seattle. So getting to be part of that was very incredible, and getting to work with all the different businesses and you guys, and that was amazing to be part of that. But, on a selfish, I get to be in a band and be a rock star and play guitar on stage thing. There was nothing better, It's, some of my highlights of my entire career have been playing in Washington State. The Gorge has been some of those. Yeah. But, playing 2 nights at Safeco, I think the second night for me was even a little bit better than the first. And maybe that's because usually the second shows are better. But it kind of went by so fast. I'm looking forward to seeing it again, to go, oh, yeah, that's what happened. And, I think Kim Thiel and Tim DiGiulio came out, and maybe Mark Arm, I'm forgetting all, and we had a blast. It was a hometown celebratory, triumph, I guess, in terms of me being in a band. So I couldn't. It's hard to put into words how amazing it was.
And people can watch it at nugs.net if they want to check it out. But I think my favorite part at the end of the show, we're walking and saying hi to some random people. And I just that was incredible. And this guy, I thought he said, that was my 19th show and my favorite. I'm like, I'm like 4 or 5 shows behind you. And he looked at me and goes, I said 119th show. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got a little bit of catching up to do.
Wow. Well, if we can ever get back in the road, you can come out and start trying to catch up on those.
I had tickets I was going to go to the Oakland show. We had tickets, myself and Ryan Castle. We were going to fly out for the Oakland show to start my quest.
Were? Oh,
yeah. Yeah. But hopefully that'll happen soon.
And we haven't
fingers crossed.
And we haven't talked to you since the release, but great album, Mike.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of man. Good job.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. It feels like I really, we were getting ready to go and support the Gigaton record and we're starting to rehearse all the songs and trying to get them as tight as possible, and just about to go to New York and start rehearsing, and bam, everything hit. And so I'm very proud of that record. It feels like the rug under us, but at the same time, I can't complain because I feel that for all the younger bands and everybody that's trying to do it now, I want everybody to be able to get back to playing in clubs and, road crews working again. And all that is so integral and important to everything, and radio stations and all of that needs to start up again. And it will. And I look forward to that so much. I can't tell you.
My wife makes fun of me because she'll come home sometimes and I'll just be sitting in the living room and we have Gigaton on vinyl and I'm sitting there with my 1-year-old and I'm just like, I'm just training her now to be a hardcore Pearl Jam fan so we can have daddy-daughter nights at Pearl Jam shows one day.
She might want to rebel against it and go, I don't want to hear that. I don't want that. You never know. I thank you for trying, though. At least the next generation. I appreciate that.
Mike, thank you so much. You have been such a great reason why we've hit 50. And of course, you've been a great friend of the show as well. And it's just, it seems fitting to talk to you because, you've got a great love for what you do. There's something special about this town where a rock station can be around for 50 years. A lot of other cities have had rock stations that are great rock stations and they're not around anymore. There is something special about this town. And I think it's because of guys like you and bands like yours that, man, we're just happy to be part of that magic.
Well, you guys do a fantastic job. And, it can't be understated how important KSW has been to the development of the rock bands or the grunge bands or whatever bands that came out of, in Seattle, Washington. Because, I can only speak for myself, but I can tell you how many thousands of hours of KSW I listened to as a young kid and being mesmerized in terms of the bands that were played, in the late 70s, mid 70s to the 80s to 90s, to all of that. KSW has been incredibly helpful to me in terms of, my musical development once again. And I probably wouldn't be where I am now had I not listened to so much rock radio growing up, and getting to know about AC/DC and getting to know about, UFO or getting to the Stones or, all the classic rock bands that were so and are so still important to me were played on KSW back then.
Mike McCready from a band you may have heard of, Pearl Jam. Mike, thank you so much for spending this time on this 50th with us. We really, really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy birthday. Remember, when you're over 50, you can hurt yourself while you're sleeping. So that's and you can't wear a chain wallet anymore. That's what I'm borrowing that from Greg Berent. Greg Berent was is a comedian that had those jokes. I have to give him credit for those. So.
That's awesome.
So you guys don't hurt yourself while you're sleeping, because I do every day.
You're absolutely right. That is the truth. Oh, man.
Right?
Thank you, Mike. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you, guys. All right. Talk to you soon.
We are celebrating 50 years of KISW all weekend. Yeah, it's the KISW 50th anniversary weekend.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How much does bankruptcy cost?
Usually with my office, we do a flat fee that includes all your court costs, filing fees, credit counseling, credit reports, and one cost. In Chapter 13 cases, that usually starts at about $900. With Chapter 7 cases, the total cost, including all your court costs, attorney fees, is usually about $1,500. We offer payment plans on Chapter 7, so you can start a file with my office for as little as $200. You can send your creditor calls to us. We'll take your creditor calls while you gather up your information and make payments on the rest of the fees. With Chapter 13 cases, we can make payment arrangements in most cases as well and get your case filed even sooner in a Chapter 13 case because of the reorganization aspect to it.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
New on Curiosity Stream. Deformed trees, mutated wildlife, and no humans for miles. 10 years after the disaster at Fukushima, see what this irradiated ecosystem can teach us about nuclear fallout on Radioactive Forest. Plus, looking for the most diverse marine life on the planet? Dive into the Coral Triangle and experience a frenzy of wildlife you've got to see to believe on Nature's Greatest Secret. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.